On June 7, 1998, in Jasper, Texas, 49-year-old James Byrd Jr. became the victim of a hate crime. He was targeted by 3 white supremacists, Sean Berry, Lawrence Brewer, and John King. In an act of unspeakable brutality, they dragged James behind a pickup truck for 3 miles while he was still alive. Despite enduring unimaginable pain, Byrd remained conscious for most of the ordeal, ultimately succumbing to his injuries halfway through the dragging. His attackers drove another 1.5 miles before disposing of his torso in front of a black church. At the time of their executions, Brewer and King became the first white men in modern Texas history to be sentenced to death for the murder of a black person. Berry was sentenced to life in prison and is eligible for parole in 2028. 4 months after the brutal murder of James Byrd Jr., another tragedy struck the heart of the American West. On October 12, 1998, Matthew Shepard, a 21-year-old college student at the University of Wyoming, became the target of a senseless hate crime. In a desolate field just outside of Laramie, Wyoming, Shepard was brutally attacked by 2 men, Aaron McKinney and Russell Henderson, who left him tied to a split-rail fence, alone and abandoned to die. McKinney and Henderson were quickly arrested and charged with first-degree murder, and both were sentenced to 2 consecutive life terms in prison. In October 23, I received permission from the Matthew Shepard Foundation and the Byrd Foundation for Racial Healing to record Byrd and Shepard, a song that grapples with the brutal murders of James Byrd Jr. and Matthew Shepard. This project aims to confront the painful history behind these tragedies, shedding light on some of the events that led to the passage of the National Hate Crime Bill.
My earliest memory of James Byrd Jr., he's the third to the oldest, and I'm the baby of 8. So the relationship was I was the baby sister all the time, and he was my big brother. And he always tried to find some ways to entertain me because he feel like, okay, I'm responsible for you. And I feel like I'm responsible for him because he's my big brother. So we had a tight relationship because we had this label. He was the first boy and I was the last girl. And our memories, because he liked entertaining people. He loved family, and especially his sisters and brothers and stuff. So we'll go around singing songs together. And put me in the car. He'll ride around Jasper and just stop. He'll talk to someone and say, "This is my baby sister. This is my baby sister." He never had any music lessons. And he went around and got a band, 8 years old. Got in a band.
8 years old.
8 years old.
Okay.
In a band. And he was trying to figure out how you trying to play the trumpet in a small town.
Yes.
You don't have music lessons.
Yeah.
In small, especially African American
Texas,
you're not going to get paid. But I'm not going to pay for no music lessons. So we figured out, well, how did James learn how to play the trumpet? It just came to him naturally. And when it came to him naturally, he just pick up a song, you hear it, he play it. And so family reunions, he used to come and, well, he gonna play now, James. I got a song for y'all. Said piano and the trumpet. And the first thing he said, I'll play the trumpet. And so he played, what's that song? Green Mile, not Green Mile. I'll think of it later. But Green Onion.
Yeah.
Green Onion.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so he played on trumpet, and then he played on the piano. And you see in one of his videos where he was teaching my sister Melinda how to play backup piano. He taught her how to play piano. The only thing he wanted to do is to back him up. You're not going to outshine him. You're not going to outshine him. I just want you to do 3 notes, da, 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 and I do the rest. So he was an entertainer because he loved people and he liked people, making people laugh. And he always wanted to make a difference. He never was a sad person. And music brought joy to him. And music brought joy to us, knowing he was happy singing it to us. And people used to request him to sing at the football games. Get standing ovations. Solo, trumpet solo, church services, leader, piano, weddings. And so he was well known in Jasper for being the #1 artist and for his music concern.
Yeah.
And that was his life, and that was his livelihood. But he always said that, okay, I'm playing this piano, I'm playing this trumpet. I'm gonna put Jasper, Texas on my map. They're gonna know Jasper, Texas, they don't know James Byrd Jr.
Yeah.
And when I hear those words now, everybody know Jasper, Texas, but not for the reason that he thought he would be known for.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it kind of sad because he was that good in what he was doing. But his life was shortchanged because of what happened to him.
I want to make sure I get it from you correctly before I misspeak on it, but I do remember you talking about Bush basically bringing up James's name, but not contacting y'all, not coming to the funeral, really just kind of making a political game out of it.
He made a political game. He didn't come to the funeral. He was governor of Texas. He sent a letter, blah, blah, blah. And he did just enough to say, I'm governor of Texas and it's happened in my state. It wasn't something that he really heartfelt because he didn't go out of the way to do anything. We didn't get a phone call, but yeah, we got a phone call from President Clinton waiting in Washington. In fact, that was history when the time Southwestern Bell was not AT&T, Southwestern Bell was on a Saturday evening, knocking on the door. We from Southwestern Bell. The President of the United States was trying to reach out for the last 2 days because we had these phones where it beep, 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 beep.
Yeah.
There's no two-way. If you can't, there's no answer machine, no voicemail, anything like that. So you've been calling, and people's calling us. So he said we came and stole the line. We came in to the lines, to the bedroom and the living room, and left out. In 15 minutes, President Clinton called and talked to my mom, talked to dad, and everything. And because we didn't know at the time when you do the right thing that it affects a lot of people. Yeah. He said, I want to thank the family because if y'all did the wrong thing, it would have been a race war in America. Because people waited to break out of prison, people ready to march and kill and everything, but y'all spoke peace, and I like to thank you kept save America. And it was kind of heartfelt at the time because we weren't expecting it. We was doing what's not hard to do. Yeah. But we knew it was the right thing to do. James was wanting us to speak out on their behalf and said, don't kill anybody else. Just speak on my behalf. And so we couldn't do that. So to have the president call and have the governor there not call at all and send a letter, and then you want to run for president
and act like he cared.
Act like he cared. Yeah. Oh yeah, the James Byrd case went around all those states and told lies. And I heard on the radio, somebody called me and said, have you heard what your governor said in Texas that what he did for your family? And I said, I never heard what he said. He said, well, that he convicted those 3 guys and everything under the hate crime bill, and we just feel like, and that was a national hate crime. So people thinking he did so much for the family and you. Yeah. And so I said, okay, people need to know the truth. And so it took me like a month and a half, and I was a single parent. I leave that Friday, come back that Sunday. I went to every state, flew in for all of these election states, main ones, and told what George Bush didn't do. And there was, he said, and he was on campaign saying what he did do, and I come right behind him and say, I'm going to tell you what he didn't do. As a family member, I was there, what he did not do.
In 2001, Rick Perry, then governor of Texas, signed the James Byrd Jr. Hate Crimes Act into law. It was a hard-fought victory, but it wasn't without its controversies. Just a few years earlier as governor, George W. Bush had opposed similar legislation, dismissing it with the claim that all crimes are hate crimes. Although lawmakers tried for years to expand hate crime laws, progress was slow. However, after the murders of Byrd and Shepard, advocates pushed even harder for change. 8 years later, in 2009, President Barack Obama signed the Matthew Shepard and James Byrd Jr. Hate Crimes Prevention Act into law, extending federal protections to include crimes based on sexual orientation, gender identity, and disability. Despite these landmark legal changes, Wyoming remains one of the few states without a hate crime law, underscoring the ongoing challenges in the fight for justice and equality.
In April of 1968, just 1 week after the assassination of Martin Luther King, as our nation mourned in grief and shuddered in anger, President Lyndon Johnson signed landmark civil rights legislation. This is the first time we enshrined into law federal protections against crimes motivated by religious or racial hatred, the law on which we build today. As he signed his name at a difficult moment for our country, President Johnson said that through this law, the bells of freedom ring out a little louder. That is the promise of America. Over the sound of hatred and chaos, over the din of grief and anger, we can still hear those ideals, even when they are faint, even when some would try to drown them out. At our best, we seek to make sure those ideals can be heard and felt by Americans everywhere. And that work did not end in 1968. It certainly does not end today, but because of the efforts of the folks in this room, particularly those family members who are standing behind me, we can be proud that the bell rings even louder now, and each day grows louder still. So thank you very much. God bless you. God bless the United States of America.
Since 2009, hate crime incidents in the United States have only continued to increase. A wrought iron fence was eventually placed around Byrd's gravesite after being desecrated twice. After the tragic death of their son, Matthew Shepard, in October 1998, Judy and Dennis Shepard became outspoken advocates for LGBTQIA+ rights. They founded the Matthew Shepard Foundation in December 1998 to honor their son's legacy, focusing on education, outreach, and supporting LGBTQIA+ youth. The Shepards also dedicated themselves to legislative advocacy, playing a key role in the passage of the Matthew Shepard and James Byrd Jr. Hate Crimes Prevention Act alongside the Byrd family. In 2012, Judy Shepard was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom by then Vice President Joe Biden.
Something that kept coming back up that I think is a big reason why I got so obsessed with it as I got older is that the story kept changing. And your family, y'all were the only consistencies that I would see, especially your mother. But it would confuse me because, I am 11 when this came out, right? And so every year it's something new. The first year, it's all the news that, the details and barely really what happened. And then a year later, you realize how horrible it actually was. And then a year later, it's still different outlets trying to justify why this happened as if he deserved it. Oh, he was drunk, or oh, he was this or that. And it's like, so fucking what? Excuse me. It's like, so what? But I feel like even now as we sit here and we talk about it, and, this is now about to be 26 years. It's so important to me that we capture this the right way, that we tell it the right way, that we remind the public of who these people were as human beings, who James was, who Matthew was, because I don't want to have the next generation
come in.
act like this is something that never happened.
It's a long way because people in Jasper are already saying it didn't happen. You got new generation in Jasper.
You said that they don't want to talk about it.
No, Jasper they do not want to be reminded of that, even though the mayor is African American, and he said it's time to move on. It happened, and
which is a wild thing to say. A wild thing to say.
I mean, and I feel like it's an insult to James and to
absolutely
because they were classmates. The mayor and James were classmates, and you tell me that you tell him let's move on, and sometimes we sell out a lot to get gain, but when you go against your own people to get that and undermine the fact that this African American was brutally killed by white men to get there, then you head in the wrong direction.
In a June 2023 interview with the Texas Tribune, Jasper Mayor Anderson Land said, "We don't want to keep rehashing it. We want to move on beyond that. What was done to him was tragic. In order for Jasper to grow, we need to move on."
Thank you, really, just for continuing to do the work that you've done. I know it's a thankless job, and it's honest. It came as a result of something that should happen to no one.
Yeah.
But honestly, I just want to say thank you for taking the time.
Louvon Harris currently serves as the president for the Byrd Foundation, established in 1999. As a passionate advocate and dedicated educator, she remains steadfast in her commitment to the organization's mission: stop the hate, educate. Her leadership continues to inspire change, promoting understanding and compassion in communities far and wide.
won't forget ya. Fact checker, fact checker. They want up in the books, but we won't forget. Oh, I can't forget it, the way that they did it. No sign of repentance. Killed him on June 7th. Killed him on June 7th. The Sunday that I turned 11. The Sunday that I turned 11. Byrd Jr. went to hell. Fact checker, fact checker. They tryna bend the books, but we won't forget ya. Fact checker, fact checker. They want up in the books, but we won't forget. Fact checker, fact checker. They tryna bend the books, but we won't forget ya. Fact checker, fact checker. They want up in the books, but we won't forget. Jasper, Texas was less than an hour from here. Oh, Byrd Jr. looking like my uncle, they brought me more feet. They dragged his body from the back of a truck while still alive. Nothing was left of him in front of a church after 3.